What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lit. And as we all know, it is October, so iPad season is starting to come up. And in 2 weeks, the new iPhone 12 is going to come out. But today we're going to talk about which iPad should you buy. With all the four options, it may be overwhelming. Well, I'm going to help you decide. So let's get started. So let's talk about the first and the most powerful iPad there is, the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro has a dual camera setup, so remember that. So if you want to use your iPad to take some photos, some really nice photos, that's your greatest option. It also has a LiDAR sensor, which means you can you can play games, virtual VR games, AR games, and it's very cool. Now it has an A12Z chip, a Bionic chip, which means it is a very powerful iPad. It is great for taking notes. It's amazing for playing games, and just for everything you think this iPad can do, it can do it. It has Face ID, so that will help you. It is compatible with the second generation Apple Pencil, and it's also compatible with the Smart Keyboard. Magic Keyboard. So if you want the keyboard that has the touchpad, that iPad Pro is compatible with it. Now let's talk about the new iPad Air. The iPad Air recently came out. It's the newest model that Apple released. Now remember, this one has the A14 Bionic chip. It is also very powerful. It has a single camera setup, so it is good for taking photos, but it's not the greatest. Now, instead of Face ID, it has Touch ID. And the Touch ID is actually on the top button, so you get a full Retina display. It's amazing for playing games. It's amazing for taking notes and everything else. So this iPad would also be great for video editing. And the iPad Pro, as we've seen with many videos saying, can you edit on the iPad Pro? Yes, you can. Now, the iPad Pro comes in more colors than all of the iPads that are out there. It comes in a sky blue, a green, rose gold, silver, and space gray. So, if you want a color option, also iPad Air is your best option. Now, let's talk about the iPad. So, it's called the iPad in Apple, but it's the iPad 8th generation. So, this iPad is actually only compatible with the Smart Keyboard and the first generation Pencil, and this iPad Air that we just talked about is actually compatible with the Magic Keyboard. So yes, the one with the trackpad, and the second generation Pencil. So let's go back to the iPad 8th generation. It has A14 Bionic chip, which means it is very strong, but it does not have touch. I'm not sure if it has Touch ID or not. It's great for taking notes. It's also great for playing games. And it only has a single camera setup, but it's not amazing at taking photos, which is actually great because I don't know if you guys actually take photos with your iPads, or we all have phones. Now, this iPad would be your best option if maybe you wanted to get it for your kids, maybe you want to get it for your moms and parents, or if you just wanted to get it for yourself, so you can take some notes, maybe watch some videos, play some games. But if you don't want to go to the extreme, the iPad is the best generation for you, the iPad 8th generation. Now, there's the iPad Mini. The iPad Mini has an A12 Bionic chip, still very strong, but not as strong. It is not compatible with the Smart Keyboard, but it is compatible with the Apple Pencil. So no keyboards, but the Apple Pencil first generation. This one does not have Touch ID. It also has a single camera setup. It's not that good for taking photos, but it still does the job if you're gonna take a photo. Now, this one would be your best option if you're gonna get an iPad, so maybe you can play some games, because this iPad is extremely tiny. And as we've seen in other videos, this iPad can fit into your back pocket and in your front pocket if you have really big ones like jeans. This iPad is just extremely tiny. It does not have a full display setup, and that's also with the iPad 8th generation, no full display setups. But it's also really powerful. It would be great for your kids, like amazing for your kids, because it's very small. Now this one is also really cool with watching videos, and you can play really cool games on it because it is an amazing iPad. But remember, because this iPad is very small, it does not have all the features as the bigger iPads. So these are all your iPads, all the iPad models that Apple has now. So I'm going to tell you for who should buy which iPad. The iPad Pro, if you're going to be doing video editing, if you're going to want amazing videos and portrait shots, that's your best option. If you want this Magic Keyboard, the Smart Keyboard, and if you want the strongest iPad out, the iPad Pro is your best option. Also, the iPad Pro comes into two sizes, 12.9 and 11 inch. So it has a size range, all the other iPads don't. Now, the iPad Air. Why would you buy the iPad Air? Do you want multiple colors? Do you want the Magic Keyboard? Do you want the Apple Pencil? Second generation. Do you want cool photos but not as good as the iPad Pro? Do you want a full display? Do you want Touch ID on the top, on the top button? So this is the A14. So remember, A14 Bionic chip. You should remember that when buying all of your iPads. Now let's talk about the iPad 8th generation. If you want the iPad 8th generation, so you can play some games, watch some videos, do maybe just a little bit of video editing, but not the greatest as the other iPads. If you want to just take a couple of photos, but not the amazing photos, it's probably your best option. If you only want the Smart Keyboard, no touchpad, also your best option, first generation Apple Pencil, and everything else that we just said, also a great option. iPad Mini. If you want the iPad Mini for your kids, compatible with Apple Pencil, first generation, and you want it just so your kids could do schoolwork, or even you can do school work on it. Not even schoolwork and regular work. You can take some notes. It's great because it's actually just a little bit bigger than the iPhone. It is bigger, but not very bigger, but you will feel the difference. And it's great because you don't have to use both of your hands, and it's just, you can hold it with one hand and you can do your work on it. So, and if you don't want amazing shots, but you want you want good shots that can do the job, iPad Mini is also your best option. Now, remember that this iPad Mini, I'm going to tell you, if you want to take this around basically anywhere you go, it's really like an amazing iPad for the size of it and how powerful it is. So these are the 4 iPad models. Comment down below which iPad are you going to get if you're going to get one. And remember that the new 2 iPads that Apple announced, iPad Air and iPad 8th generation, still haven't came out, but they're going to be announced here in October. So this is why I'm making this video right now for you guys. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment down below which iPad you're gonna pick. And if you do have an iPad, tell me, how do you like it? Because as we all know, iPads are pretty cool. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.